Yeah.
Okay. So in the last class, we have seen the GitHub and Git integration and all the things, which is not a proper introduction to your whatever the course that we are joining, that is Terraform and all the things. Here you need to understand what is meant by Terraform. So today's class we will discuss about the Terraform and then what are the main benefits of the Terraform and how we can configure the Terraform and remaining all concepts we will learn into that. Now, if you see, whenever we want to create any infrastructure, so if I want to create any infrastructure, if we go back to our previous generations or also old times, so if I want to create any application or also any infrastructure for an application, first of all, I need to create a data center. If at all, if I have a data center, it is well and good. If at all, if my company is a very small company, so I don't want any data center to be created. So I need to have a physical server. I need to have a physical server. So single physical server is not sufficient to launch an application in old times. So what I need to have, I need to have multi server configurations. Okay. So I need to have multiple servers. So what I need to do, I need to go for a vendor and I need to purchase the particular server. So purchasing of the server should be done. And after purchasing of the server, I need to configure the server. Once the server is configured, once the server is configuration of the server in the sense installing the required operating system, and then installing the required packages, whatever the applications that I want, I will install all the packages and all the things. Now, once it is done, after that, what I have to do? After that, I will deploy the application. So to deploy the application, to provide the access or else to create an application access for the user, what are the different steps that we are taking here? If you see, server purchase or else server, physical server from vendor. Okay, purchasing the server from vendor. And the second one is after purchasing the server from vendor, what we have to do? After purchasing the server from vendor, we have to do the configuration or else installing server in the company or else in the data center, wherever you want. So installing server in the company means what we are going to do here. We are going to creating a network. So if I have to install a server, first of all, we have to create the network. And after creating the network, we have to connect the server to the particular network. And we need to provide access to the network and all the things we will have whenever we are installing the server. After installing the server, then we have to configure the server. Configure the server. So configuration of the server in the sense installing whatever the required software we want, that is called as configuration of the server. Like operating system, whether in that server we want Windows operating system or else Linux operating system. And the server, what are the different packages? If at all, if you want to install any application, the application must be supported for, so I have to install certain packages where the application can run smoothly. So like environment, creating an environment like Java environment or Python environment, installing all those required packages, and that is called as configuration of the servers. After configuring the server, then we can go for the installing application, or else I can call it as making application into live. Okay, so these are the process that we are going to take, that we are doing whenever we are having a physical server, when we have the physical server environment. So later on, what is happening here? Later on, virtual machines are introduced. VMware is introduced, virtual machines are introduced, virtualization is introduced. Then what is happened in a single server, we can have multiple virtual machines so that the server hardware resources are optimizedly used. And later on, when we coming back to the cloud infrastructure, so after all this, like virtualization, like physical infrastructure, virtualization, after that, cloud infra has introduced into the IT industry or else IT world. Whenever the cloud is introduced, now what is happening here? Now in the cloud, the one of the most important cloud that we are discussing here is the first one is that what I can say, your AWS or else what I can go for Azure or GCP. Like that, we will be having so many cloud providers. Now, to create the resources into this cloud providers, to create the resources in any one of the cloud provider, what I have to do, I have to have an account, or else I need to have an account in that public cloud. Once I have the account, then I can log into that public cloud like this. And after logging into the public cloud, what I can do here is I have to create certain resources like VPCs and EC2 instances. So like this, I have to do certain creation. So manually, I am creating the resources in the particular console or else in the particular cloud provider. Now, what is my question? If at all, if I have to create everything manually, for example, if I have to create everything manually, for example, I want a load balancer. So then what I have to do? So how to create the resources? What is meant by VPC? Everything has to be created manually. VPC creation, subnet creation, internet creation. So there is a list of resources which I have to create, which I have to basically create. So for every time, if I have to create that depending upon manually, it will be a hectic task for me. So for every project to create all those resources repeatedly, so it will be a hectic task for me. So what I have to do? So there is no necessity of logging into my cloud service provider. There is no necessity of logging into my cloud service provider. Simply what I can do here is, I can log in into the I can create the resources with the help of some code. So I'm going to create the resources with the help of code. And that is called as infrastructure as a code. So we can develop the infrastructure with the help of the code, and that type of practice is called as infrastructure as a code. Now here we are having so many applications and so many third party applications where we can use this infrastructure as a code. So for example, the best example here is Terraform. So with the help of Terraform, what I can do here is I can develop the infrastructure, I can install the infrastructure, I can create the infrastructure. So whatever the servers I want, VPCs and AWS, so what I can say subnets and all the things. Now here I am going to train you on Terraform based on AWS cloud provider. So based on AWS, we are going to learn about the Terraform. And so what are the main advantages of this Terraform? So this is the only application which can be run as infrastructure as a code? No, we have the cloud formation for AWS. In AWS, we are having a concept called as cloud formation, where we can run the code, where we can create instances or also all the infra with the help of the code. And that API is called as cloud formation. So this is about your Terraform. Now, what are the advantages? So why we have to use this? What are the advantages of this Terraform? Why I have to go for the Terraform? Is there any necessity need for this at the time we are using? Yes. What are the different advantages of this Terraform? We are having so many advantages with the Terraform. The first one is, as it is saying that Terraform is an infrastructure as a code. If you have a single code, you can apply it for multiple infrastructure based on the cloud. Now, Terraform is acceptable. Terraform is acceptable for any cloud. Okay, we can write the code for any cloud, not only for AWS. Terraform is specifically not specifically for AWS. No, not only for a single cloud. We can write for any cloud. Like we can create a code for Azure, we can create a code for GCP, we can create a code for AWS. Not only that, whatever the on-premises environment like VMware that we are having, virtualized missions are there. We can create the virtualized infrastructure with the Terraform also. So this is the first thing why we are using Terraform. So Terraform is not bounded for a particular cloud. Terraform is not bounded for a particular cloud. It is for each and every infrastructure, each and every cloud infrastructure. I will not say that Terraform can be used for only AWS, only Azure. No, it can be accessible to each and every cloud. And the second one is Terraform is very easy to understand. Whatever the Terraform code that we are writing for Terraform code is easy to understand. Okay, whatever the Terraform code that we are writing, it is very easy to understand. So we don't have any complexities like writing a JSON script or else YAML script or what I can say Python or else whatever the codes that you are writing. So Terraform is pretty easy to understand and to run. So for that, what I am going to do after creating this code, after creating, also you will understand how we can create the code. It will be pretty simple. So this is the second advantage. Understanding the code is very easy. What are the resources that we have created and all the things you can easily understand. And the next one, dry run can be done. Dry run can be done with the help of a command called as can be done. What is meant by this dry run? Can be done with the Terraform plan, with the Terraform plan. Now, so what is this dry run? Dry run is pretty simple. Whenever you want to create any resource, first you can test whether this resource will be created or not. Is there or there are any errors that you can find in the code? So first of all, you can plan it before creating that particular infrastructure. You can plan the infrastructure. Is there any possibility that the code might be failed, and all the things you can search and you can update that. So this is the third advantage. And the advantages like that we are having so many advantages. So that is the reason why we are going for the Terraform. And distributed coding will be done. For example, what is this distributed? So whatever the code that you are writing, there is no necessity of writing the code in a single file. You can maintain the code in multiple files. You can maintain the code in multiple files so that it will be very clear. The particular file which we have created is for creating the VPC. And the particular file that we are creating is for creating the subnets, routing tables. Like that, you can create the multiple distributed files. Okay, distributed coding can be done so that it will be very helpful for us to understand the concept. Okay, to understand the code. So code understanding will be very easier for you. So these are the many advantages of your Terraform. So when we go into the Terraform, you can have a clear-cut understanding what are the benefits that we are going to get from the Terraform. So the next one that we are going to do here is how to initialize the Terraform, how to initialize the Terraform or else how to create the Terraform. And the next one is how we can deploy the servers. For that, first I will log into my AWS account. So what I will do here, I am going to log into my AWS account, launch an instance. I am going to launch an instance in any in a VPC. Okay. So what I will do here is here, this is my Terraform server. This is the instance which I am going to launch, and it is an Windows instance. Before installing that, I am going to create a role. So what is this role? Roles are the services or else roles are the permissions that are created in AWS, which can be applied on the servers to get authentication on remaining services of your AWS cloud. So again, I'm repeating. It is pretty confusing for you. I understand that. Again, I will say this. What is meant by roles? Okay, roles are the services. Roles are the authentication services. I can simply call it as authentication. authentication services which can be created to provide access of one service on another services. So if I want to access, suppose for example, I have EC2 instance. I have an EC2 instance. So if this EC2 server want to access or else it want to create the VPC, by defaultly the EC2 cannot access this VPC. What is this accessibility of VPC means? Let me show you a small example so that you can have a clarity, and then we will go further into the concept. Now, for example, there is a Git server is there. So I will start this server so that I will run some of the AWS commands. Okay. So what is this accessibility? And you need to understand this concept very well. Hold on. Yeah. So this is the Git mission where I am going to log in as a Ubuntu user. So I don't have this access. I don't have the access towards my console, AWS console. Now I have the access towards this server. If I want to log into, so I have logged into the server and I want to get the details of my VPC. What are the different VPCs that are located in a particular region? For example, in the London region, what are the different VPCs are there? So if I give the command AWS EC2 describe -VPCs, so it is saying that AWS CLI is not installed. By default, in Ubuntu, AWS CLI, AWS command line interface is not installed to run the AWS commands. So what I have to do, I have to install the AWS CLI first. To run the AWS commands, I need to install the AWS CLI. So how can I install that? Just to go to the Chrome and search for AWS CLI for Ubuntu. So I want to install AWS CLI for Ubuntu mission. So what I will do here is AWS CLI install in Ubuntu. Okay. So copy this, or are these required for us? If you understand this concept, that will be pretty helpful for you to understand the Terraform concept also. So that is the reason I am saying. So apt update -y. Once the server is updated, what I can do here is then apt install unzip -y. After that, I will install this. Okay. Now AWS CLI is installed in your Ubuntu machine so that you can run the AWS commands. Now if you see AWS --version, if I give this command, so I am getting the AWS CLI. So if you go here, AWS EC2 describe -VPCs. If I give this command, actually I need to get the VPCs. First, what is happening here? My server is getting into my account and trying to access the VPCs. So trying to read the VPCs, trying to get the VPCs. So what I have to do, AWS EC2 describe -VPCs --region. From which region you want? I want from EU-West 2. This is about the London region. Okay. From this region, I want to get the VPCs. Whenever I am giving this, so what it is saying? It is saying that unable to locate the credentials. Okay. So the server is trying to access the VPCs, or else the server is trying to access another services, but you don't have the permissions to access that services. So what you have to do, you need to provide the permissions. You need to provide the permissions. So what I am going to do here is I will create a role. Here it is pretty clear that roles are the authentication services which can be created to provide access of one service on the another service. So I am going to create a role so that whatever my EC2 instance here can get an access towards my VPCs, not only towards my VPCs, to the another resources also. So now what I will do here is I will go to IAM. In the IAM, go to the roles. Go to the roles. Already there are 67 roles, no problem. I will create another role over here. Create a role for the EC2 instances, allows EC2 instance to call AWS services on your behalf. Okay, that's fine. So here you can provide EC2. Okay, you can provide, let me do one thing, EC2. So I will select EC2 full access. I will select EC2 full access, which means that we can create the instances, we can create the VPCs and all the things. So here what I will do here is Terraform role. This is the role which I am creating. Once I have created that, create the role. Already existed. Okay. I will give it as new. What is that? Create the role. Once the role is created, what I can do here is I will apply the role on my server. I will apply the role on my server. Or else you can create the access key and secret key. You can create an user and you can provide the access key and secret access key also, which is not recommended for us. Now what I will do, I will apply the role on this server. Actions, security, modify IAM role. Here Terraform role new. This is the role which we have created just now, and update the IAM role. Now, when I update the IAM role over here, now if you can see, again, I will give the command. So when I give the command, this time I got the VPC details. Why? Because I have created a role and applied the role on the EC2 instances, EC2 services. So a role is an authentication services which will provide access towards the another service. Now, if I want to get the S3 details, I will not get. So if I give the command AWS S3 LS, see it is saying access denied. Why it is saying access denied? Whatever the role that I have created, that role is applicable only for the EC2 instances. So Terraform role new is there, right? So this role is capable of getting the details of VPCs and EC2 instances only. It is not capable of getting the or else retrieving the details or creating any S3 buckets. So what I can do here is I will go for add permissions, attach policies, S3. So I'm going to provide the S3 full access. I'm going to provide the S3 full access and attach the policy. So now when I attach this policy, what I can do here is, if you see AWS S3 LS, hold on. Now you got the S3 bucket details. So now my server is capable of retrieving the data from another services. So this is the concept. So now what I am going to do here is I want to create a VPC. If I want to create a VPC, then I need to have the role accessibility. Then my server should have the accessibility towards the VPC creation. Now what I will do, AWS EC2 create -- region. In which region you want to create? I am creating a VPC through shell scripting, so that you can clearly understand what is the main difference between shell scripting, creating a VPC through shell scripting and creating a VPC through what I can say Terraform. So -- region EU-west-2, which means in London region, I want to create CIDR_block equal to CIDR block equal to, which means that which VPC I need to provide the subnet IDs or else CIDR blocks. So I will provide like 10.130. or else 130.0.0/16. This is the CIDR block which I am creating, and if I press enter, create hyphen VPCs, right? Sorry. I create hyphen VPCs. Okay, so when I give this command, automatically a VPC will be created. A VPC will be created. What it is saying, cider block. I think the CIDR block this that. Just give me a second. I forgot this actually. AWS VPC CLI. If I go here, the command is correct, but the representation is somewhere. Yeah, hyphen hyphen cider hyphen block. This is the mistake that I have. Just give me a second. Copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, when I paste it over here, a VPC is created. If you see here, when I go back to this, if you go to the VPCs, a new VPC has been created. A new VPC has been created with the cider that is 10.130.0.0/16. You see, a new VPC is created. Now, if I want to make any changes in the sense I want to give the name for this particular VPC. If I want to provide the name for this particular VPC, unfortunately, I forgot the name to provide. So what I can do here, so I will go back and if I give like this, hyphen hyphen resource, hyphen hyphen tag hyphen specification, tag hyphen specification. Okay. So what is the tag that I want to provide here is a resource equal to VPCS or else resource equal to VPC. What you can do here is we can provide the name for this. Okay. So here I will provide like this name. And then what you can do here is name equal to, you can provide the resources like this. So whenever I am trying to provide this, what is going to happen here? Actually, the name will not be replaced, but despite of name, what it is going to do here is, it is going to create a new VPC. So what I will do here is, I want this hyphen hyphen tag specification. I will copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, region hyphen hyphen tag specification. What I will do here is, if you see here, I don't want all this. I will simply go with value Terraform hyphen VPC. This is the value which I am providing. Or else simply I can go with Terraform hyphen VPC. If I give this, what is going to happen here? Actually, we have a server or else we have a VPC with 10.130. But when I give this, sorry, here the resource type is VPC, right? So VPC. When I give this, so what is happening here? Now, if I refresh this, see that a new VPC will be created, a new duplicate VPC will be created. If you see, Terraform VPC is created. This is the new duplicate. We have a VPC that is with the starting with 10.130.0.0. But I want to create or else I want to provide the name for this VPC. But unfortunately, what is happening here? We have the duplication. Here we have the duplication. So these are the problems that we are affecting with the what I can say with the another type of creating. So with the another type of code creations through shell scripting or else any another ways. So this is the main problem, major problem that we are encountering. So to overcome this problem also, we are going for the Terraform. So what I will do here is, here I will go to my EC2 instances and launch an instance. This is my Terraform hyphen server, which is my Windows server. I will select the Windows server, and it is T2 small or T2 medium. So T2 medium will cost you around 8 rupees per hour. So be very careful whenever you are using this. And then what I want here is AWS B1 online, and select the network. So in which network you want to create this? Obviously, I want to create an VPC 4, and I will enable this. Select an existing security group and default security group. And if you go down here you will be having the IAM. So what is the IAM that I have to provide? Terraform role new and launch the instance. So now my Windows instance is launched. So at the time of after launching this Windows instances, after launching this Windows server, what you can do here is you can run this server. You can run the server. So now what I will do, select the Terraform server. Here you can connect to the server, but for Windows to get connected to the server, it will take some time. Just hold on, at least minimum 4 minutes it will take. So before that, what I will do here is, so we have provided the permission to this particular server with the help of role. By creating the role, we created the server permissions. And what is the role that I have created? I have created the Windows role. Oh, sorry, I have created the Terraform role new, where you can create the EC2 instances, VPCs, and all the things. Now, what are the prerequisites? What are the prerequisites after logging into your Windows server? What are the prerequisites that are to be installed to write the code and to access the code? The first one is you need to have the Terraform API. First one is Terraform API to execute the given code. Okay, Terraform application. Simply, I will say that. And the second one is Visual Studio Code, VS Code. It is my default code, guys. If at all, if you want PyCharm or else any another IDE, you can go for that IDE also. But my default IDE or else my default editor is Visual Studio Code. I will select the Visual Studio Code, which will be very handy for me whenever we are writing the code for Terraform or for Docker or for anything. So Visual Studio Code is very handy for us. So these are the two applications. These are the two prerequisites which we are going to install whenever we are creating the Terraform code. Now, after that, what I am going to do here is, let me log into this server, Terraform server. I will connect to the Terraform server, RDP, and click on get password, upload the private key. So new folder. So I will go with this is the key pair which I am going to use and decrypt the password. Once the password is decrypted, now what I can do here is I will copy the password and connect it to that server. Take the password over here and connect to the server. Now see that you are connected to the server. What you can do here is, what are our requirements? My first requirement is to download the Terraform application, create the Terraform environment first, and later on the second one is installing the Visual Studio Code on my server. These are the two applications, or else these are the two important things we have to do first. So for that, what I am going to do here is I will go to the Microsoft Edge browser. Here, go for here. What I am going to do is Terraform.io. This is the website where you can download your Terraform. The latest Terraform that you got is 1.3.8. Previously, I used to have 1.3.7, but I am having now 1.3.8. Simply, I will download this. After downloading my Terraform file, So what I am going to do here is I will go to the PC. Here I am going to create a file. I'm going to create a folder, and this folder is tools. So to save the tools that are required for me to run the show or else to run the configuration. So this is the tools folder where I will unzip my or else where I will extract my Terraform application. So if you see here, extract, oh, sorry, extract all. So where you want to extract the application, I want to extract the application to the tools directory. In this directory, I will extract the application. Extract. Now, once it is extracted, now what I will do here is I will copy this. Let me go to the PowerShell. As you can see here, the Terraform is accessible. I have downloaded the Terraform application. I will go to PowerShell and provide the command, and I will provide the command as, so let me do one thing, Terraform. I will provide the command as Terraform version. If I give this command, am I going to get any response from this? See that I will get the error. So it is trying to access, it is trying to provide the versioning. But see here, I got the error. The term Terraform is not recognized. So to make it recognized for all the computer, for the entire environment. So what I am going to do here is I will upload the whatever the path. I will edit the path in the environmental variable. So what I will do, I'll go to systemdm.sysdm.cpl, like system properties. In the advanced, go to the environmental variables, edit path, and I'm going to provide this C tools so that the Terraform can be accessible wherever you go inside this particular server, inside this Windows server. Now again, I will go to PowerShell. If I run Terraform version, previously I got the error, but now if you see here, now I got my Terraform version. Now what you can do, Terraform, let me check one thing, provider hyphen version. If I give this, okay, that's fine. Now I am getting the Terraform version here. Okay, Terraform is configured. The next thing what I want to do here is I want to install Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code download. So what I will do, I will download Visual Studio Code for my Windows. Okay, it is downloaded. Once it is downloaded, I will try to install this Visual Studio Code. Accept the agreement. Next, 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 and open with code. Add open with code. Next, install. So that my Visual Studio Code will be installed. This will be my default code editor so that I can create my Terraform code. Now what I will do here is after installing this, after installing the Visual Studio Code, now let me go back to my PowerShell and again open the PowerShell back. So cd //, which means that I am going to the C drive. In C drive, I will create a directory that is Terraform basic code. Terraform basic code. CD Terraform basic code. And here I will open my Visual Studio Code. If I give code dot at that particular directory, which is my Terraform basic code directory, my Visual Studio Code has opened. Now what you can do here is, here, whatever the Terraform directory that you are having, here the Terraform directory is not initialized with the Terraform. To run the Terraform or else to execute the Terraform, first of all, you need to install the Terraform. You need to initialize the Terraform. So what is this initialization? When you initialize the Terraform will download it required plugins, whatever the plugins that I want, it is going to download all the plugins. Now what you can do here, before initializing, I will provide the one of the file. Before that, you need to provide the extensions for this Visual Studio Code. The extension that I am going to provide here is Terraform. So I want the Terraform extension so that it is very handy for me to write the code. Okay, now what I will do here, I am going to create a first document, that is main.tf. This is the first document that I am going to create. So here I am going to provide the provider. Here who is the provider? Provider means in which infrastructure, in which cloud we are creating the resources, that is called as our provider plugin. If you see in Terraform, so let me go back and check out here. Provider plugin Terraform. What is this provider? So if you see what is this provider, now I will go back and let me check. So plugins are the executable binaries written in Go that communicate with Terraform core over RPC interface. Okay, now what I want to do here is I want to show you what is meant by this Terraform provider. Now let me go back and search here. What is Terraform provider plugin? A provider in Terraform is a plugin that enables the interaction with API. This includes the cloud providers and software as a service providers. The providers are specified in Terraform configuration code. So what is this provider? A provider is like an interaction between my code and to my cloud infrastructure. Now, if you see, a provider in Terraform is a plugin that enables the interaction with an API, application programming. The Terraform can interact with the cloud APIs. So what are the cloud APIs? So it can interact with my AWS API, or else if I have the Azure environment, my Terraform can interact with the Azure environment with the provider plugin. Okay, so whenever we are going for this provider plugin, let me do one thing. I will go to my code. Here, what I am going to do here is I will write like this: provider. Who is the provider? I want my AWS as the provider. So AWS is the provider. Okay, that is well and good. Once you have given this, then what you can do here, where you want to create your resources, in which region you want to create the resources. Region equal to, I can simply say that US-East-1. In North Virginia region, I want to create the resources. And then what you can do here, you can mention the version also, Terraform version also. What you can do here is, here, how the code will be looking like. Let me show you this. Terraform provider. Okay, not for AWS. I will simply go for Terraform provider. So how it will be looking like. So when you see here, there will be multiple providers. If you see AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Kubernetes, Alibaba Cloud, and there are so many providers like this where the Terraform can automate the installation. Now, what is the provider that I want? So here you can see, as I already said, that we can create our on-premises infrastructure also with the help of Terraform. So where we can create that with the help of Terraform VMware vSphere, we can create whatever the on-premises infrastructure also. Anyways, when you're coming back to this, I want for AWS. Okay, if you want for AWS, what you can do here is, or else I will go back here, Terraform provider. So AWS, I will provide like AWS. When you provide this, the first option is pretty simple. Who is the provider? So here you can say provider is AWS and the region. I have specified this. And here what you can do here is, here you can mention the version. Let me copy this. I will copy this and here I will paste the same. In my Windows, I will paste the same. So which version of Terraform you need to run? Actually, right now my Terraform version is 1.3.8. So what I can do here is I will provide the version as version equal to, what I can say here is 1 point, or else here you can give greater than or equal to greater than or equal to 1 point somewhere like a 3.2. So my version should be greater than 1.3.2, greater than or equal to 1.3.2, or else you can simply say that it is equivalently equal to. We can give like this also. So this is how you can provide your Terraform version also. So first of all, in many of the companies, what they will do here is, in majority of the companies, what the company requirement is that I want the Terraform version should be 0.12. Okay. So you need to specify the Terraform version like 0.12, or else like that they will ask you. So you have to run the Terraform version with the specific version only. You have to run the Terraform with the specific version only. So every company will ask the engineer or DevOps engineer to create the infrastructure on a specific version. So here you can provide the version also. How you are going to provide the version? Like the same manner I have showed you. Version equal to 1.3.2. But as of now, the version is 1.3.8. Let me go back here. And again, what I am specifying version equal to here, what I can do here is I will specify like this, greater than or equal to 1.3.2. Okay. And here, what again they are saying, AWS resource equal to Hashicorp AWS and version. What is the version of AWS? It should be greater than or equal to 4.0. Right now, the version that is running is 4.5.2 in the AWS console. Now, if I go back and check out Terraform provider hyphen version. So it is giving like this. Let me initialize it. If I initialize Terraform init, if I give that, so it is what it is saying, unsupported version. It is saying that whatever the Terraform that you have given, so it is an unsupported version. So what I can do here is 1.3.7. Let me check and save this. If I go back here, Terraform init. Okay, it is not accepting that. Anyways, what I will do, I will remove this. If I remove this, it will install the Terraform 1.3.7 plugin. So depending upon this version, now the latest version is 1.3.8. I will go with this. I will save the particular version, or else you can remove this. But whenever your company requires, you can provide the version also. Now here what I am saying, required provider AWS resource is the version of the AWS is nearly equivalent or is greater than or equal to 4.0. Now again I will go for Terraform init. So what it is saying, save this, why it is asking again. Let me do one thing, Terraform init. So now it is initializing. So initializing the AWS version 4.5.0. Whenever it is initialized that, if you can see here, a new directory is created. Previously, we used to have main.tf only, but now this directory is created. What will be there inside this directory? Inside this directory, we will have our plugins, whatever the plugins that are required to interact with my AWS API and to create the resources. All the required plugins will be available in this directory. And now what I can do here is I can, depending upon this. So if you want greater than or equal to 3.0, you can view like this. Or else what I can do, I can go for Terraform version equal to 3.0. I can view like this also. Okay, 3.0. So now what I will do here, I will go for Terraform init again. See what it is saying, fail to query the available provider, could not retrieve the list of available versions for the provider, locked provider. The Terraform Hashicorp AWS 4.5.54.0 does not match the configuration version 3.0. Must use the Terraform init upgrade to allow the section of new versions. If you want any new version, you need to allow this. So this older version is not acceptable by your Terraform. So what you have to do, you have to provide like this. I will provide greater than or equal to 3.0. Now what it is going to do, again, I will go for Terraform init. Or else I can go for Terraform init upgrade also. Terraform init upgrade hyphen upgrade. So that I can upgrade my, so see here, what is the current available version? So the best available version is version 3.7.76. So depending upon your company requirement, you can upgrade your version or else downgrade your version. Now what I will do, I don't want this 3.0. I want the latest version to be installed. So the latest version I can provide like 5.0. So greater than or equal to 5.0. If I give this, there is no version beyond 4.5. So if you see, so what it is saying, could not retrieve the available version of the provider greater than 5.0. My AWS version is the maximum version right now that is available in the market is 4.554. But I have given that greater than or equal to 5.0, which is not suitable. Now what I can do here is, here I will go to less than 5.0, which means I'm providing the range. That's it, whichever it is sufficient. So I will go with the Terraform init. So what it is saying, the string does not use the correct version constraint. That's okay. And let me check it out. Less than, I will go with the less than, what is that? Less than 5.0. Terraform init. So it is initializing the file. So it is going for version 3.7.6. So now what I will do here is, here I will go to, I don't want this 3.7.6. I will go to version 4.0. Simply I will go like this so that the latest version will be installed. Okay. So this is how you can change the version. Right now the version is 3.76. Okay. Now if I again go to the Terraform init, this time what is going to happen? I will go with the Terraform init hyphen upgrade so that I can upgrade the version. So your companies will ask you this. Can you check out the provider version, please? So you need to check out the version and you need to provide the reply to the company authorities. So right now I am in the latest version. Now next what I can do here is, after initializing the Terraform. So in US East 1, I want to create my resources. What are the resources that I can create? As I already said you that Terraform is a distributed code version. So distributed coding can be done, which means that, so I am going to create a vpc.tf, which means that in this, a VPC can be created. How that is going to be created? Here, we have to use the command resources. A resource I want to create. So I will give the command resources AWS underscore VPC, AWS underscore VPC. I want to create a VPC. So what is the syntax? The syntax will be like this. Resource and resource to be created. Resource to create. Resource underscore to underscore create. So which type of resource you want to create, and you need to provide the resource name, resource underscore name. Okay. So here AWS underscore VPC, and the resource name that I want to provide here is Terraform hyphen VPC hyphen 1. This is the resource name. Now this resource name is not equivalent to the VPC that you are creating in your system or else in your AWS provider. Now what is the meaning of this? This resource name is for making understandable, or else this resource name can be understandable only for the VPC only for the Terraform. To understand for Terraform which resource has been created, what is the name of the resources that is created, to get understanding of the resource. So to get understanding for my Terraform, I will use this resource name. This resource name is not equivalent to the name that we are creating in the VPC. So that is different. In the AWS, whatever the names that we are creating, that is different, and this resource name is different. I will show you in a detailed manner. Now what I can do here is, to create the VPC, I want CIDR underscore block, CIDR block equal to 10.20. Or else 10.120.0.0/16. And the next one is, that's more than enough to create a VPC. We will go with the options in the next class, but as of now, I am going to create the VPC like this. But unfortunately, I I forgot to give the name. Now what I will do here is Terraform plan. I will give it as Terraform plan. When I give the command Terraform plan, it is going to create the VPC. A VPC is going to be created. Here, what is going to happen? If I give the command as Terraform apply, if I give the command as Terraform apply, then so this planning is dry run. As I already said you in the first starting of your Terraform, I said you that Terraform plan means dry run. So it is going to do the dry run. And this apply. So if I provide yes, then a server will be created, then a VPC will be created. You can see here, if I go to my AWS account, let me go to the VPCS in North Virginia region. In North Virginia region, here you can see 10.120.0.0/16. Now I want to provide the name for that particular VPC. I want to provide the name for that particular VPC. How can I provide that? So this resource name is only for understandability of Terraform, not for the AWS. AWS will provide the names depending upon the tags that you are giving. Tags equal to name tag, that is equal to what I will do here. Sorry, dev-terraform. I will provide like this. And let me save. And again, if you go here, Terraform apply. Terraform apply. When you give this command, what is going to happen here? Just the name will be changed. Just name. See there, modification is there. So what is going to happen? A name will be added to my VPC. If I refresh this, see that dev-terraform VPC is created. So that is how your Terraform works. Now, how Terraform will understand that already the resource is created and I have to change the name for that particular resources. How it is going to understand? It is pretty simple. Whenever we have applied, there is a particular file called as TF state file. This is the heart of your Terraform. Your entire Terraform code relies on this Terraform state file only. So when you see the Terraform state file, now I already said you that this is the name which can be understandable by your Terraform. So what I am saying, a VPC has to be created with this resource, and what is the name that we have to provide? This is the name that I have to provide to the resource, and the ID for this resource or CIDR block for this resource is this. So the entire statements, the entire heart of the entire code will be shortened and will be saved in the Terraform state file. This state file will be in the JSON format. Now, the state file is the heart of your Terraform. With the state file, whatever the resources that we have created, each and everything will be uploaded here. Whatever the resources, either it might be. Now I want to create one more resource. Now what I will do, I will go to the VPC.tf and I will copy this and I will paste it over here. Yeah, this time I will provide the CIDR as 10.130.0.0. This time I will provide the prod. I will provide the name as prod-terraform, for example. I will provide the name like this. But when I apply this, when I try to create this, I will get an error. So see here, Terraform plan. Here I got an error. What is the error? AWS_resource name is already declared. It is already declared. Now, if you see, now the state file is trying to create another VPC with the resource name. So whenever it is trying to create the another VPC, see the resource name here. Here I am having Terraform VPC1. With the same name, if I want to create another VPC, it is not possible. Then there will be a duplication. Then there will be a conflict. So now what I have to do, I have to change the name of the resource. No, I will do here VPC-2. And when I save this, if I go back and apply this Terraform plan, if I try to plan for this, what is going to happen? Okay, then I will apply this. So I press yes, and another VPC will be created. if you see here, and another VPC will be created. This is how with the help of Terraform, you can interact with your cloud and you can create your infrastructure. This is the basic which I want to say. Hope you understand the concepts. Is there any doubts here? Okay. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next session and I will declare whether the batch is about to continue or not or anything. I will declare that. But as of now, that's all for today. Have a nice day and we'll meet in the next session. Bye guys.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, means are you interested in continuing that batch or not, sir? Actually, I am interested in joining, but I am not seeing any other guys. They are like interested
We will
just
discuss.
because of.
We will discuss.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. In the next class, in the 7 o'clock batch, we'll discuss about this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.